Okay, I'm going to tell you guys this story. Three little stories. Okay, this is how I found out I was pregnant. Each time was different than I think the average way you get news. But anyway, so my first pregnancy, all my pregnancies were not planned. None of them were planned. Anyway, my first pregnancy, I'm 18 years old, and I had met my oldest son's father where I was working. I was working in the co-check room at like a hip hop club, a dance club, and he was working for Brotherhood Security. Big dude, big bodybuilder. And he had taken me out and he introduced me to two things. He introduced me to a substance called ecstasy, and he brought me to my first dance club, like outside of where we worked. Like, took me to Boston, to Lansdowne Street, to these clubs, Avalon and Axis. They were awesome. They were really hopping back then. This was a long time ago. Anyway, anyway, I had stopped talking to him because I found out we all went out together and that one of the other girls was dating him, but she was telling me about the girlfriend he'd had that he was with. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with any of this. And I stopped talking to him. And we hadn't spoken for like 3 weeks. And I had a feeling I was pregnant. So I had called my ex-boyfriend, who we ended up on and off for like 7 years, J-Rod. And I asked him to go out with me and that I was going to take a pregnancy test, and I had a feeling I was pregnant. And so we went. I had my sister's ID from the time I was 17. It said I was 24 and then onward until I was old enough. So we went to a bar in Broxton, the city I lived in, and not like, I don't know, not somewhere I went a lot. But anyway, this was before cell phones. I did have a pager, and right when I was like, all right, I'll take the test. I was a little buzzed at that point, and as I got up to go to the bathroom, Jared grabs my arm, and right then my pager starts vibrating. Jared says to me, I know you're pregnant. I look at my pager, and it's Joel, my father, my oldest son's father, calling me for the first time in a few weeks. And I went in and I took the test in the bathroom, and they said it would take 3 minutes. It took like 2 seconds, and I was so pregnant. I came out, I grabbed the payphone, I called Joel. Joel answers. I say, listen, I just found out I was fucking pregnant in the bathroom at whatever bar I was at, and it's your baby, and I'm going to deal with this later. I'll call you later. I hung up on him. I went back to the bar, to the table we were sitting at, and I was crying, and the bartender was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just found out I was pregnant in your bathroom. And she's like, okay, well, this one's on me. And then we left, and so that was the first time I found out I was pregnant. I found out alone in a bar bathroom. I didn't realize what a bad idea that was. But anyway, so that was how I found out with my first one. Now, 5 years later, I am with my daughter's father, who I was with for 10 years. Okay, my pregnancy with him. I took a pregnancy test, and like, it's supposed to be 2 pink lines, and one of them was so light, I couldn't really tell. So I went to the doctor for a blood test, but I had a feeling, I didn't know. So I did the blood test, and I'm waiting for the results in the doctor's room, in the room with the table, whatever. And I'm sitting there waiting for the nurse to come back. The nurse comes in, and she said, okay, well, you're not pregnant. I was like, oh, thank you. And she goes, oh, so that wasn't planned? And I was like, not at all. And at that time, me and my daughter's father, we were just toxic from minute one for each other. We're both Leos. we're just too intense for each other. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, oh my God, you know what I mean? Thank God. But I really had thought I was, and like, what was I hoping I was? You know what I mean? And the nurse walked out of the room, and I'm just like, whew. And like 2 minutes later, she comes running back in the room, and she's like, I am so sorry. I read the results wrong. You are pregnant. Now let's take your blood pressure. My blood pressure was expectedly high at that moment. So that was how I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. And you guys already heard the story about Nick Chance if you watched that story. But with him, I was in a holding cell waiting for my prison cell assignment, and a very large woman with a very gruff voice came in and said, "Reckless, you know you're pregnant, right?" My name's not Reckless. She said something else. But anyway, yeah, so I was in jail for number 3. Yep, that's how I found out I was pregnant each time. I don't know, you guys. The saga just goes on and on and on and on and on. I don't know. Think what you want. You're gonna anyway. I just thought it was interesting. There was nothing normal about me finding out I was pregnant. So there you have it.